All right. Hey, everybody. It's Amanda, and thank you so much for coming to the Find Your Soulmate seminar in person, or also sticking around here for our recorded version. So, we're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff. Kind of take it with me. I'm going to break it down into nice little pieces and then hopefully be able to answer all of your questions throughout the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to start out with why am I even talking about foot health, right? How did I even get here? Well, if you don't know me, I am a competitive kickboxer. I've competed at the national level, and I've always had an issue with my ankles, and specifically rolling my ankles, spraining my ankles. I want to say that I've probably sprained my ankle um, like literally too many times to count, right? And so I was kickboxing for, I want to say like 5 years before I started having issues. And I thought that I was fine, that my feet were strong because I was barefoot and working out all the time, doing my kicks and my punches and all this stuff, right? And so I didn't realize that I still needed to strengthen my feet in order to make sure that the imbalances that I already had worked themselves out. I thought that just walking around barefoot would just fix the issue without me even actually doing the work for it. So, fast forward to having one of my first fights. Um, Long story short, I fell down a flight of stairs literally the day before my fight, and we just like taped it so it didn't move, and we just hoped for the best, right? Needless to say, that fight didn't go as well as I thought it would, but it really put it into perspective of the importance of doing functional strength training as well as the other things on top of it, right? Like it's not just enough to do kickboxing training or strength training or weightlifting. You also have to do that functional mobility and foot strength, which is how I came around to finding the soulmate webinar, right? So let's push forward a little bit, right? So I am going to be talking about one of the greatest books that has like changed my mind on a whole bunch of things from the body mind connection to like even talking about like chakras and stuff. But there are some things that we're going to be talking about that you may be like, I don't know if I believe in that. I don't know if I believe that, these things align together. Or I don't know if we're going to talk a little bit about how, like, foot positioning or shoulder positioning, literally how your posture is, has a reflective effect on how you are thinking of yourself in your brain. So, like, um, I'm just going to do a really quick example of like if you're sad, you're kind of like slumped down, you kind of like crumple in on yourself, right? And then when you're excited and joyful and happy, you kind of like spread out and take up space. So just touching on things like that, you're not going to probably agree with all of them, and that's totally fine. I just want you to take just a little bit of what we talk about, and hopefully that will help your own foot journey and your own foot health. So let's take a deep breath and let's get started. So, why are we even learning about foot health? Why are the feet so important? Well, for starters, you use them every day, right? We either have to walk or jog or run or, get around just walking around the grocery store. We need our feet in order to survive. And I remember growing up, one of my parents' friends, she always had feet problems. And it was always debilitating because she had to kind of limit herself based off of what chore she was able to do that day until her feet would hurt, right? Thinking back to it, she actually had plantar fasciitis, which is something that you actually don't have to live with. You can do strength training to like work it out of your system. And the plantar fasciitis isn't the issue. It's telling you something in your body isn't working right, kind of like a check engine light, right? But we learn about foot health because it is that check engine light for the rest of your body. I'm going to touch on it a little bit later, but there are 4 myofascial slings, right? So, like how your body is connected to itself, that all connect and run through the feet. So, all 4 of these, no matter if it's your front line, the obliques, if it's the back line, all of them run through your feet. So, it's super important. Like if you have any imbalances, I immediately check your feet. If you say that you have shoulder issues, I immediately look at your feet. You say that you have plantar fasciitis, I look at your feet, right? So no matter what your imbalance is, it can be told through the story of your foot and your footprint. So any pain, I don't want to say any pain, but most of the pains that you have throughout your body can be correlated to the foot positioning in your feet. We're going to do a few exercises to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So, first one is look at this. See, I can splay my hands, right? We have a really good body mind connection to our hands because we use our hands all the time. Okay. So, I want you to try to do the same thing now with your toes, right? You can take a second, look down at your toes, look down at your hands, and I'm just doing this spread. Try to get as much space in between your toes as possible. And then I want you to relax. So bring them together. And then you're going to spread and then you're going to relax. And I want you can either write it down or you can just take a mental note of the different things that you're seeing. Is one foot easier to do than the other? Maybe your big toe is moving and the usually it's like the three in the middle kind of work as one toe together. Is one foot really good, but the other one maybe has a bunion and you don't have a lot of mind body connection there, right? And the big thing here is you're just noticing what your connection is, right? Even if you just go and like your toes are going like this, they're all just moving together, right? That's not great, but it's great to know, right? You didn't know that you didn't have that connection until just now whilst we're talking about it, right? So there's no reason to beat yourself up, right? Just think of this as an initial consult. You're looking at yourself very objectively and kind of just seeing where you're starting off. Okay. Our next exercise, what I'm going to have you do is you're going to grab a lacrosse ball or a racquetball, something a little squishy, but also firm at the same time. And what you're going to do is I'm going to use my hand just so I don't have to like awkwardly show you my foot. What I'm going to have you do here, I'm just going to show you a picture of your foot. I think you can see my mouse, right? So you're going to take the lacrosse ball and you're going to start underneath the big toe and you're going to roll down until you get to right before the heel, right before here. If you have plantar fasciitis, this is usually the pain point that really gets like gummed up when you walk on your feet too long. Okay. So you're going to roll down the big toe towards the heel, right before the actual bony part of the heel. And then you're going to come back that same way. And then you're going to go to the second toe. Okay. So second toe, you're going to go down and you're only applying as much pressure as you feel comfortable. I don't want you to like try to drive that ball into the bottom of your foot, put as much pressure as possible. And then all of a sudden you give yourself tendonitis, which is possible. You can do that. Don't do that. Okay. So you're going down the second toe, all the way down to the heel, all the way back up over to the third, all the way down, all the way up. So instead of just taking the ball and like just rolling it over the bottom of your foot and hoping for the best, you're very systematically going and tracing each one of the rays, they call it rays of your foot, and you're tracing them back every single time, right? So you're going very systematically and purposefully while you're doing your foam rolling. All right, that's it for this first section. We're going to talk about meeting your feet in the next video. Bye, guys.